Welcome to the city of Gangneung here in the east coast of the Republic of Korea. The Gangwon province, also home to Pyeongchang, the host city of the 2018 Winter Paralympic Games. But it's here in Gangneung that the para ice hockey event will take place. As we look at some of the new venues, waiting for the spectators of the games to arrive. But which country will return here in March as World Para Ice Hockey Champions? Our Day 2 coverage continues now. And our third and final matchup here on Day 2 pits Norway against Germany. Both these teams still looking for their first victory of this tournament, as Norway was defeated 9-0 by Canada on Day 1. Germany falling by a score of 2-1 to the Republic of Korea. We welcome you inside the Gangneung Hockey Center. Mike Kelly alongside Jonathan Bell. And when we look back at that Day 1 action, the final game of Day 1, the Germans taking on the Republic of Korea. Phenomenal game, a lot of tempo, and the Germans almost found a way to squeak it out, but ultimately in the end they give up that late goal and they end up losing the game.
Absolutely. Last night really felt like these championships had begun. We had a big crowd inside the Gangneung Hockey Center here in the Republic of Korea. And it was a fantastic game, by far and away the tightest one we've had so far. Germany had little spells, particularly in the third period when they got it back to 1-1. It looked as if they may go on and get the first win of the campaign, but South Korea struck late on to take the 3 points. And I think this is a must-win for Germany. They can't go in their first two games not winning either of them. And of course, they've got the USA to contend with next.
As we take a look at the standings here, Germany and Norway right now in the 5 and 7 spot. And a very critical game between these two teams as we expect them to be battling for maybe 4th, 5th, 6th position. The top 5 teams get automatic qualification into the 2018 Paralympic Games in Pyeongchang, right here in the Republic of Korea. So a head-to-head matchup, critical for both sides. The Norwegians coming off a 9-0 loss to Canada, who you see in first place. Canada winning earlier today by a score of 7-0 over Italy. And really not a lot that Norway was able to do in that game against the Canadians, but an opponent here today that's a little more their speed and an opportunity perhaps for Espen Hedge, the head coach, to see some more offense from his team.
Certainly. I think Norway will be looking at this not in terms of trying to overturn things from yesterday, because they were probably always going to lose to Canada. That scoreline was no surprise at all, to be honest. But, of course, the 2-0 defeat that Germany inflicted on them in February will be playing heavy on their minds, and they'll be looking to get revenge tonight and make sure that they get their first 3 points of this championships.
Yeah, the Germans beat Norway for the first time in nearly 20 years in an exhibition match a couple of months ago, so they know that they can give this team a good run for its money, and it will be an exciting game, no doubt. We look back at earlier games today. The United States victorious earlier this morning, a 7-0 win over Sweden, in a really inspired effort by the Americans in front of a pretty good crowd here.
Yeah, I think they'd certainly read and seen what Canada had done yesterday and tried to replicate that straight out the traps. Like Canada, we saw on Day 1, the USA got a goal inside the first 60 seconds, and you felt for the Swedes. You felt like it was going to be a long morning for them, but they stuck in there and they managed to limit the damage that was inflicted on them by the Americans, and it was 7-0 in the end. The second period in particular, Sweden kept the Americans very quiet. I think the tiredness came through towards the end for the Scandinavians, and the USA were able to put 7 past Ulf Nilsson.
We saw a really good goaltending performance last night in the 2-1 loss by Germany as well, by their goaltender. What do you expect to see out of him today again in this game against Norway, assuming that he is going to be the goaltender of choice?
Well, I think the fact that he got man of the match yesterday really showed how under the cosh at times the Republic of Korea put Germany under. So today Germany will have to do a bit more in their offense, because I think that last night there wasn't enough from them. They can't sit back against Norway. They can't expect to take up all of the pressure, and they'll have to attack a wee bit more, because the Republic of Korea at times were really on top. And when they got that first goal there in the first period, they definitely deserved it, did the host nation. And as I said earlier, it wasn't really until the third period that we saw the best from Germany. And they'll have to start right from the off today, as they finished the game last night. They were unfortunate in the end to lose by 2-1. But if we look at this action, as I said, it was certainly the Koreans who deserved to take the lead. And soon we will see Germany's goal. I know you weren't commentating last night, Mike, but it was an absolute belter from Prodel, who just lobbed it over the goalkeeper so audaciously. This is still the Korea on top in that first period, as I say, and they really could have got a couple more. There was one shot that I'm sure we'll see in a few moments' time that thumped the underside of the crossbar, and we thought for a moment that it was another one for Korea. As you can see the performance there from Kuntz in the German goal. He managed to foil Korea quite a lot. It could have been a lot heavier a scoreline at the end of that first period.
Absolutely. Simon Kuntz, the goaltender for Germany, faced 15 shots in that game, made 13 saves. He was the player of the game for the Germans, so a solid effort by him, and he'll have to be on top of his game here against this Norwegian team. It wasn't so easy for Kissinger Deng, the goaltender of Norway, as he faced a loaded Canadian team, gave up 9 goals on 17 shots, but again, you're not going to fault him too much for that as we take a look at some of those highlights from the German Republic of Korea game. We are getting set for first period action here from the Gangneung Hockey Center between Germany and Norway, and we've touched on it already, but obviously a big match for these two teams is somebody is going to find a way to get a win. And when you get into things like potentially tiebreaker scenarios with goal differential, etc., it becomes all the more important. Maybe one of these teams can not only sneak into a top 5 spot, potentially a medal spot as well, and play for a bronze medal, who knows?
Particularly, Norway haven't been on the podium in these championships since 2009, and they'll be looking to end that dismal run for them. They've got a good reputation in this event, and they want to make sure that they don't go too many years outside the top 3. They'll feel at least third is where they belong. Germany, on the other hand, I think it is Winter Paralympic qualification for next year that they'll be striving for, but it's games like this, as you say, that are potential tiebreakers at the end of the tournament that they really have to be winning, and you've got the added element of this being an all-European affair.
In the last couple of international events, Norway, calling the bridesmaids, they finished 4th place in Sochi at 2014 at the Paralympics. They lost in the bronze medal game. They lost in the bronze medal game also at the last World Championship in 2015, as we'll take a look at some highlights from Canada versus Norway on day 1. And didn't take long for the Canadians to get on the board. It was about 30 seconds in, Greg Westlake finding the back of the net from the slot area there. And, you know, that's really how things went for the Norwegians on this day. They allow 6 goals in the first period. They were outmatched right from the get-go. And in speaking to Norwegian head coach Espen Hedge before that game, he said, we know that we're going to be spending a lot of time in our defensive zone. All we can try to do is make the best of it and play as solid defensively as we can. It was a situation where they were clearly outmatched by their opponent. And again, you look at goal differential as being a potential tiebreaker in this tournament if teams get tied towards the end. Norway didn't want to let things get too far out of hand after it was a 6-0 score after 1, so they did well to only allow the 3 goals in the final 2 periods.
Absolutely, and Norway must have felt like when they saw the fixture list that they definitely got the short straw at these championships because, of course, the USA weren't playing on day 1. Canada really were the side you didn't want to face, and they certainly were on form yesterday. And they grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck right from the off. As you can see there, 4-0 up with still just under 5 minutes to play of that first period. And it was damage limitation for Norway. They managed to keep it in single figures, which I think would have been probably the aim at the end of the first period.
Absolutely, and it wasn't a lot that Norway could do offensively in that game. They only managed 3 shots on Dominic Larocque, the Canadian goaltender. And obviously when you're hemmed in your own zone as often as the Norwegians were in that game, it's difficult to try to get anything going offensively. So we'll see if we can get a little bit more of a balanced attack by the Norwegians in this game against Germany. Obviously the Germans not as strong of an opponent as that Canadian hockey team. So we are getting set for period 1 action, our 3rd and final game here on day 2 coverage from the Gangneung Hockey Center. Perhaps one player to watch from each team up front as we get set for the first period. Yeah,
I think we've got Ved for Germany, who scored in that game against Norway back in February. He'll be certainly someone to keep an eye out for. Last night he didn't really play as well as we'd expect from him, as well as we'd expect from that game in February suggested. So he'll definitely be wanting a bit more from himself tonight, as will his teammates.
We are moments away from puck drop. First period action, the final game on day 2, coming up next. We're moments away from puck drop, period number 1 coming up between Norway and Germany. Both teams unable to get into the win column on day 1 of this competition. They are lining up. They are out of the dressing room waiting to take the ice. And I was mentioning to you, Jonathan, before the game, I love the jerseys on both of these teams. We'll take a look at them in just a moment. Right now, let's take a look at the officials. Our referee from Canada, Kevin Webinger, and the linesman from the United States of America, Nicholas Bradshaw, and the Republic of Korea is Han Yao. The teams getting set to take the ice. I just mentioned a moment ago, love the uniforms. We've got Norway wearing the blue and red, kind of reminiscent of old Montreal Canadiens uniforms in the NHL, and the Germans in white with some black and yellow trim, looking pretty slick themselves.
Absolutely, always with the Germans, their kit in whatever sport they play always looks very intimidating, that contrast with black, orange and the white as well. And the big eagle on the front of their jerseys, and Norway wearing their country's flag colours. And as they come out onto the ice, we mentioned the Ved for Germany. One player for Norway to keep an eye on, he starts on the bench, is Rolf Pedersen, an absolute veteran of the game. He's got 1 gold, 3 silvers and 1 bronze for the Norwegians. He's been playing since 1996, and he's considered one of the best para ice hockey players in history.
So nothing doing offensively for Norway in game number 1 of the tournament. The stat line showing a bunch of zeros. As for Germany, they did get a goal from Robert Pabst in that game. We take a look at the German lineup here. We've mentioned a couple players to keep an eye on. Bas Lisveld as well, the captain of this team, is a key player for this team. He was actually born in the Netherlands, but he's lived in Germany since 2001. Began playing para ice hockey in 2000 in Bremen, Germany. He's 41 years old, and he is more than capable of making a difference in this game. Hugo Radler also on defense. He's a doctor by trade, made his international debut last year at the European Championship at the age of 38. A quality player for this German team.
Absolutely, and we look on to the Norwegian team now. It's a change in goal. Number 18, Kjell Hamar starts, and also lining up for the Norwegians, we have number 24, Thomas Avdal, and number 71, Ola Øyseth, the spine of the defence for Norway. And you feel like players really have to be resolute in this game. It's going to be a tight one, similar, I expect, to last night when Germany faced the Republic of Korea. Both sides should be tough nuts to crack because they do know how important it is to get 3 points from this fixture.
Kissinger Deng getting the night off in goal for Norway, and you can't blame him. Well, he won a night off. He was busy in that game against Canada, facing 17 shots and allowing 9 goals. You take a look at the coaching staff for Germany, getting their team fired up in this one. Andreas Pokorny, the head coach, slapping the players on the back, saying, let's go, let's start on time, let's make sure we get off to a good start in this hockey game. Try to get a lead. For Norway, Espen Hedge, the gentleman on the right side of your screen, the younger of the two fellows, tapping his hand, perhaps in some nervous anticipation. In talking to him yesterday before the game against Canada, I really got a sense that he is certainly able to get his team in the right headspace before an important game. You can be sure that that is the case as we take a look at the German goaltender. It will be again Simon Kunst after a brilliant game that he played against the Republic of Korea just yesterday. He's 30 years old, and in goal, as we mentioned, for Norway, it will be Kjell Hamar, 32-year-old, started playing the sport in 2010. He's already playing in his 4th World Championship. Best finished was 4th place, as we mentioned, at the 2015 event in Buffalo, New York, in the United States. So the players tapping hands, starting at center for Norway, will be Magnus Bogle, a 21-year-old. Started playing the sport in 2008. He is in his 4th World Championship. And he'll be squaring up against Bernard Herring, a 25-year-old from Dresden. He has a computer science degree. His philosophy is no pain, no gain. We'll see if he can inflict some pain here as we are underway, period number 1 between Norway and Germany.
And I think that motto fits absolutely perfect for this game. These two European teams will really be going at it hammer and tong right from the off, and Germany already having possession on the outside with Udo Zegreff. He Plays it behind the goal line, but it's picked up by Pedersen. In a world of fake news on the latest defender, he does start Pedersen for the Norwegians. And they have possession behind their own goal line and will look to try and get it away as quickly as possible. Here is the veteran Pedersen, being put under pressure from Herring there. Manages to find the puck pass out to this near side. And Germany now have possession inside their own half. First challenge coming in there of this game, and I expect a lot of them between now and the end of this first period.
You talk about Pedersen, 47 years old. He's been 21 years a member of this Norwegian team. He's an anchor for them and a load of experience competing in his in another World Championship. He already has 4 World Championship medals.
And first breakaway of the game that was for Norway, and it was the number 17 that had the effort towards Kunt's goal. But Kunt's showing the exact form that we saw from him last night, very easily just getting away with the pad down on the ice. And now it's Germany down at the other end. A very fast start to this game. Well seen off, though, at the back there by Bogle. And now it's the Norwegians that have it with Pedersen again. He easily gets away from the German number 33 there, Ingo Cooley-Langston. Pedersen has it back. Comes out of his defensive zone and strides over halfway. There may be a little gap opening up in front of him here. He's got options to his left and right. He goes on the outside. Been well held up by the German defence. Glacko then tries to have a strike from just inside the offensive zone. But it's picked up by Rennick, and he manages just to switch it from one side of the ice rink to the other. But you can see straight away, pretty tight. Both sides managing to get a little bit of offence in the opposition half. And a bit of pushing and shoving there behind the goal line as well. And there is certainly no love lost between these two sides. It's quite clear right from the offset.
Bas Disveld, the forward that we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, 41 years old. He's getting chippy in there. He's not shy to throw his weight around a little bit, as they thought there may be a rebound to the left of Hamar. There is not, and Disveld will get shown the gate, actually, for that little extra shot that he took after the whistle. The referee's wasting no time in this game, making sure that things don't get out of control, especially after the last game we saw between Canada and Italy, where things really ramped up physically. The referee's setting the tone early and making sure that they're not going to send 2 players, they're not going to set offsetting minors. They're making a statement early, and this gives Norway an early power play opportunity.
Yeah, Canadian referee Kevin Webbinger will certainly have to referee as well as his country's counterparts played earlier on the ice, because he's definitely going to be up against it. There will be challenges flying in left, right and centre, and it's no surprise at all that within the first 5 minutes we see the first power play, and it goes in Norway's advantage. And they have possession of the puck now. It's a possible shooting opportunity coming up right to the hash point, and it's a good save again by Kunst, and the rebound's just put wide. A double effort there by the number 23, Jan Klageg, and they almost put Norway in front with 2 efforts on Kunst's goal. So Norway will have to work it from the back again.
The Norwegians setting up here, bringing the puck up ice, looking for a clean offensive zone entry here, coming across the line. Number 23, Jan Roger Klakeg. So Norwegians try to direct the puck in front of the goal, unable to get a good quality opportunity, and then a big hit as well, and a great play to regain possession for the Norwegians.
Now here's Bakker. Manages to get a strike away. That really stung Kunst. It's still scrambling around the German goal, and they just about get it away. But they're really up against it at the moment, the Germans. Couple of opportunities in this power play for Norway to take the lead. But once again, it's that man, Simon Kunst, who we thought we saw the best of last night. And he's just showing us at the moment a little bit more as well. Saving his side again from conceding the opening goal in this all-European affair.
Kunst, 30 years old. He was a member of the 2015 team, yes, that finished 6th place at the World Championship, so he's back again. And he was brilliant in that first game in the loss against the Republic of Korea. Will no doubt need a strong outing here, as well as a shorthanded opportunity. 5 seconds left in the power play as time ticks down. Back onto the ice is Disveld. We're back at even strength as Norway will complete a line change and bring the puck up ice. Over the line is Rolf Pedersen with it, finds Bogle. Magnus Bogle, Pedersen looking back, and his pass is picked off by Disveld. He didn't have a lot of speed, so he'll opt to dump it in and hope for a rebound, and the puck is covered. A good opportunity there on an errant pass, which you don't see too often from the veteran, Rolf Pettersson. 0-0 the score, 10:28 to go in the first period. Welcome back. 0-0 the score. We're 4.5 minutes into this game. An early power play for Norway. They have had the better of the opportunities so far, but we are back to even strength. And the Norwegians controlling the puck, looking to break out of the defensive zone.
So they still have it in the defensive zone with Jakobsen. Manages to get it over halfway, but it looks like that one will go for icing as it goes all the way through towards the backboard. And both sides, I mean, we've seen Norway really putting pressure in that last power play, but outside of the penalties, neither side has really had an opportunity on goal, stamped their authority down yet on this game, when it's been 5v5 in the outfield. And as we see the next face-off, Germany managed to pick it up. Ved's got an opportunity, a sight on goal, and it's saved by the feet in the ends of the Norwegian keeper, netminder, and he managed to get down low there to the left-hand side and managed to thwart the Germans with their second attempt on goal. Both of them have been low drives. We saw the first one from Disveld, and that latest one there from Ved. Just a small sign of what the Germans are capable of.
Icing called here on Germany as the face-off will go back down into the German zone. And as you mentioned, not a lot of quality opportunities. We are still pretty early in this game at even strength, but an opportunity here now for Norway with an offensive zone face-off to get something cooking on net. And Simon Kunst has been so good. We've talked about it ad nauseum already, but he really was a story for Germany in the opening game. Ola Oyseth in to take the draw, the 18-year-old kid for Norway, playing in his first World Championship, loses it. Germany possessing the puck, is racing after it, is Hugo Radler.
Great hit once again on that far board. Neither of these sides are holding back at all. It's now Norway with the opportunity near the goal line. The pullback there was well diverted away from Vedder. Doing well on his defensive duties there to push Germany right now deep inside the Norwegian defensive zone. They pick it up deep again, looking to stride towards halfway. It's now Disa towards the left at flank. Another hit there going in, managing to put off Hammer as he tried to get away down in that offensive zone. And Germany now have possession. Both sides recycling possession quite quickly and efficiently. And Renak goes for a long-range drive. That went well over and wide. No real trouble at all for Kissinger Deng in the Norwegian net there.
Gives you an idea of how strong some of these athletes are. That was just a flick of the wrist from Renak, and he got a lot of wood on that shot. I don't know that these sticks are made out of wood anymore, but that's what we used to call it anyways. Frank Renak, 27-year-old, has been playing the game since the age of 12, so he knows how to fire it, and he did there just a little bit high over the net as the Germans continue to control the puck on the boards and get it to the front of the slot for an opportunity.
Renak has it again. Coming forward with it, bit of room, and this time it goes wide again. Managed to keep it low, but still Kissinger Deng, despite the fact he dived down to his right-hand side, was never really troubled there in the Norwegian goal. But still Germany have it in the offensive zone. Really tight to the board on the near side. Very difficult to see where the puck is at the moment. And it's just chipped into the corner, and Norway should have this one back under control. But make no mistake about it, in this sport you see the players with 2 sticks, and you may think that that helps with balance, but the way that they go around at such quick speed, it is difficult to keep on the sledge at times, especially when they're clattering into each other like that in the far corner. Now Renak again. Managed to hold possession well there with the puck. Then it breaks down and Norway just chip it forward and straight out of play. I think that one went into a crowd there.
Well, if it went into the crowd, it's an automatic penalty, and that's what the linesmen and the referees are talking about right now. It would be a delay of game penalty. Espen Hedge, the head coach, he's signaling that he wants a penalty. The referees confer. And it looks like the puck went into the Norwegian bench. Or rather, it did go into the crowd, so there will be a penalty here against Norway. If you shoot the puck from your own defensive zone out of play into the crowd without any kind of deflection off a stick or off the glass, it's an automatic delay of game penalty. That's what happens here. And now the Germans get set to go on the power play. We've already seen Norway with 1 power play in this game. They had a couple of good opportunities. We'll see if the Germans can create something here, and a shot just wide of the net there by Vede, the 51-year-old veteran forward.
Yeah, Hamre being put into the box, and it wasn't a great lob as we saw last night from Robert Paps, the German defenseman, who, if you didn't see it, scored just inside the offensive zone, dead centrally, and just looped it over the Republic of Korean keeper. If you haven't caught it yet, do make sure you find it somewhere on the internet, because it was absolutely outstanding and one of the most audacious goals we've seen so far in this tournament.
You can find it at Gangneung 2017 or Paralympics.org.
There you go. No excuse to miss it now. So it's back with Germany once again. And Udo Segref manages to turn well away from the attention of Bogle. Now back out to the right, and you can see really struggling to get there is Segref with the pace. He was trying his best with the picks to try and propel himself forward as quick as possible. But he wasn't as fast there as the Norwegian man, Jakobsen, to stop it from going out for icing.
So things that you don't want to do when you're on a power play. Icing the puck is right near the top of the list. It's not, there's no real terrific excuse for icing the puck when you have the man advantage. A little bit of sloppy play there from the Germans, but they do have possession back as after it is number 52, Robert Paps.
Yeah, that man we were talking about has it well far away from where he scored last night. And he's probably not in an area that he'd rather be, behind the goal line. And Norway, despite the fact that they're a man down, with 35 seconds left to go of this German power play, are doing really well to pin Germany back inside their own defensive zone. Puck missed there by Bas Disveld. He came back onto the ice, but it's a real good opportunity. Managed to get away there, the number 43, but it was well defended in the end by Norway. It was Bernard Herring who managed to try and worm his way towards the hash mark, but just in the nick of time, Norway had a man over to clear it deep inside the German defensive zone.
It's a nice play there by Knut Andre Nordstoga, the 34-year-old, to break that play up. He was the last man back, playing in his 6th World Championship. He's a veteran. He knows how to play defense, and a nice play in the slot there to nullify the German opportunity.
And Martin Hamre is back onto the ice, so the German power play has ended, and you have to say they really didn't do anything with it compared to the Norwegians when they had theirs earlier on in this first period. So that'll be disappointing for the German coach indeed. And now Norway are straight back onto the offensive. Behind the goal with number 23, and he's Klagegg manages to get it back towards Pedersen, who just left it, and now the Norwegians will have to retreat back inside their own 2/3 of the ice to manage to stay on side. Pedersen does so as well, can now break away into the offensive zone. He's got a man over, it's a real chance back here. Good save again by Kunst, who just beat it away with the right glove. And once again, it just shows at full strength how powerful the Norwegians are in the offensive zone.
Out in Bakke, a great chance there to put Norway on the board. You see the speed with which he comes into the zone as he gets freed up on the right side of the slot for a great opportunity. Won the wheelchair race at the 2016 Oslo Marathon. He's got great upper body strength, and he used it there to get into a prime scoring position. But Simon Kunst doing what he's done for a majority of this tournament, and that's turn away any shot that comes at him.
Now Disveld, in a Norwegian sandwich, manages to keep hold of possession and does really well as well. Looks like we may have a penalty coming up in a few moments' time as well. We certainly do.
And it will be Germany going back to the power play. It is a holding call against the Norwegians, and you see the Norwegian player pleading his case there is Thomas Jakobsen, the defenseman. He's an Erik Karlsson fan. Erik Karlsson, one of the premier defenders in the National Hockey League. But a 2-minute holding penalty to Jakobsen. And the Germans will be on the power play when we come back in just a moment.
Team Norway penalty number 65, Thomas Jakobsen. 2 minutes for holding. Time of the penalty, 11:11.
노르웨이 팀 65번 토머스 야곱슨 홀딩 페널티로 2분간 퇴장. 페널티 시간 11분 11초.
Thomas Jakobsen, sorry to cut you off there. John Thomas Jakobsen in the box. 2 minutes for holding. Germany on the power play. Go ahead, good sir.
There we go. I think we were both as eager as there as the two players were on that face-off, but it's Norway who pick up possession in the offensive zone with Bakker. Has it again. He is forced back by Segref, but manages to get towards the goal line and then pull it back, but it's intercepted, and now Germany can get away on the break. How quick can they be? They haven't really got much pace in their ranks. We've seen that so far, and that's been their downfall again. Segref beaten to it there by Klackleg, and he gets it away. And now it'll be back in German hands. A lot of the games we've seen today, of course, seen USA and Canada have just seen one team being pinned inside. There's Bakker, gets the breakaway. Real chance this for Norway to get first blood. It's Bakker, bears down on goal, and scores for Norway. Blasted into the top right corner past Kuntz. It's been a very tight one, but you have to say Norway have just shaded it. And at full strength, they have looked very threatening in the offensive zone at times. Bakker picked up the loose puck, bared down on Kuntz's goal, and as impressive as he's been in the past 24 hours, Simon Kuntz, he was not going to stop that firecracker into the top right corner. It's Norway that lead. Norway 1, Germany 0.
It's a shorty for the Norwegians. A 2-on-0 short-handed. We talked about the German power play not being particularly effective in this game. You give up a 2-on-0. I said, what's the worst thing you can do on a power play, or one of the worst things is ice the puck? Giving up a 2-on-0 is definitely at the top of the list as the worst things that you can do. And Auden Bakke was the player of the game for Norway in their 9-0 loss to Canada. Despite going a -6 in that game, he was a good player for them, effective, and he gets the Norwegians on the board, going top shelf.
And I tell you what, Mike, that really shows how ineffective the German power play's been, because I was presuming there for a moment, just watching play, that Norwegians were at full strength. But as you said, they had a 2-on-1, and they made no mistake. 45 seconds left of the German power play. Can they restore parity? The form so far in this game would say no, but Ranak looks to make that different, and he just hits it wide of the... it's now Heimar in the Norwegian net, and he just goes wide of his post.
Klackeg coming up there and making an aggressive play at the blue line, and he wasn't able to lock up his defender. It led to a shot on goal, or a shot at the goal by Renhack. It went wide, unfortunately, for the Germans, but an aggressive play short-handed there by number 23, the defenseman Klackeg, and it nearly resulted in a scoring opportunity for Germany.
If you are watching this coverage and are of a German persuasion, there is one source of hope, that Germany were behind last night and they did respond well. It's a bit of a frustration that it might be twice in a row now that the Germans go behind, and that's the thing that kicks them into gear. But they did respond against the Republic of Korea after going behind in the second period. Can they do the same here? Bakker looked to have something to say about that, and again he goes close. He was aiming for the same post as that he scored a few moments ago, but this time he just could not get it on target. Now Disveld trying to grab the game by the scruff of the neck on the left wing. It's the two number 3s clashing there. Still Disveld coming out on top. And then Solberg looks to come out and help his old mate Pedersen. He does really effectively well. And the two manage to scramble it away. As we touched on there, the difficulty to balance in this sport due to the fast nature. A couple of Norwegians going down there. And another strong hit as well from the captain, Disveld, on the far side.
Disveld didn't like behind the net. When Lloyd Remy Solberg ran into him, he felt he got T-boned a little bit there. He gave him an extra shot. And then, as you'll see so often in para hockey, hockey of any nature, you get the guy's number and you look to line him up a little bit later. Disveld took the opportunity to give a shot back to Solberg, 29-year-old Norwegian.
Norway win it back on that left wing. It's a good slice into that far corner there. But it rebounds away from the pursuit of Hamra. And now Germany have it. Herring looks back past his own goal line. So it's a bit of a job for Segref to get on the end of, especially with Bogle bearing down, and Bogle wins it for the Scandinavians. He still has possession. And the strike comes in from long distance. I don't think it was really troubling Kuntz's goal. I think it was just the sheer ferociousness of that strike that got me a bit excited there, because it was quite off target in the end. But with just a second to go, Pedersen just keeps control of the puck. And there we have it, end of period one. Norway lead in the battle of the two Europeans by 1-0. It was a really good start from Norway, you have to say. Despite the fact it was a German power play, it was they who took the advantage and managed to get the first goal of this game. Audun Bakker with it. And it sees us at the end of period one, Norway 1, Germany 0.
Yeah, Germany had a couple of opportunities there with the man advantage to make a dent in the score here, and they were unable to do so. It was the Norwegians with the shorthanded goal. 1-0 Norway after 15 minutes of play.
지금까지 경험하지 못했던 포스코 초고강도 스틸 기가 스틸의 시대가 열립니다. 기가 스틸로 철의 새 시대를 열어갑니다. 포스코 숫자가 사라진다.
One 0 Norway with the lead over Germany at the Gangneung Hockey Center. After 15 minutes of play, Mike Kelly, Jonathan Bell with you. And it wasn't for a lack of opportunity for the Germans in that first period. They had a couple of power plays, a couple of successive power plays. But not only at 5-on-5, even shorthanded, the Norwegians, the better team throughout that first period.
You have to say, yes, and the Germans kind of shot themselves in the foot. As you said, a couple of things you don't do when you've got the power play. They did a couple of committings of icing, and then they conceded with the 2-on-1 in Norwegians' favour. And it was Audun Bakker who bared down on goal and struck first blood for Norway. And as you say, thoroughly deserved for the Norwegians, who've been absolutely excellent and showed us kind of what they didn't get the chance to show yesterday against Canada so far today.
Yeah, only 3 shots on goal in that loss to Canada. Obviously, Canada playing at a little bit of a different level. We'll take a look at some of the highlights from the first period. And It was Norway coming out strong. They had an early power play opportunity in this game as well. They had a couple of good shots on goal. Simon Kuntz, the goaltender for Germany, was strong in the game against the Republic of Korea. And here we see a puck covered, Disfeld going in hard, Solberg going after them. Those two are going at each other for much of the first period, so that will be an interesting matchup to watch as this game progresses.
Absolutely, and that was in the first few moments as well, which really sort of sparked things into life a wee bit. A lot of needle in this game, as you'd expect beforehand, with the geographical locations of these two sides, but a very strong hits coming in from both sides, and no surprise that we've seen 3 penalties so far in this first period.
We talk about a couple of opportunities, scoring chances here for the Norwegians, unable to capitalize. And we talk about the penalty trouble that the Norwegians ended up getting in as well. Didn't really cost them, as the German power play looked pretty disoriented. Rolf Pedersen, such a great skater, and a nice setup here to Bakke, who could have had a couple of goals in that opening frame, but Kuntz was doing all he could to keep his team in it for as long as he could.
Yeah, definitely. We saw the form, the sparkling form that he was in last night, replicated tonight as well here in the Gangneung Hockey Centre. And that one just sort of flashed up towards his helmet. He managed to get the right glove on that and pat it away. And this is the goal. Bakke coming past the hash mark and battering it past Kuntz, who just didn't move at all. He had no chance with that. The sheer ferociousness of the strike was just too much. And as you said earlier on, the amount of power that you can get off these blades, despite the fact that these sticks are less than a metre high, is quite staggering.
It was a great shot, and you see Bakke there as well, going back towards the middle of the ice, trying to get the German goaltender to move a little bit, and then he ends up going up and over that blocker side shoulder. A phenomenal period for Bakke, and he's following up his Player of the Game award in the first game against Canada, so a strong tournament so far from him. Shots on goal relatively even, 5-3 in favor of Norway. They do have the only goal of the first period as well, but the scoring chances, not many terrific chances of those 3 shots for the German side. Certainly a first period that was played in favor of Norway as we get set for second period action coming up momentarily at the Gangneung Hockey Centre. Welcome back inside the Gangneung Hockey Centre. 1-0 Norway leading Germany after 1 period of play, after 15 minutes. They are 15-minute periods here at the 2017 World Para Ice Hockey Championships. not only is this the final game of the day, well, that obviously means that we had 2 games earlier, and we'll start with the United States taking on Sweden. It was game 1 here on day 2. Thoroughly dominant performance by the Americans as we expected, although going into this game we thought it might be a double-digit margin of victory. The Swedes did well to keep it at 7-0.
Yeah, especially the fact that USA were straight out of the traps. They got their first goal in the first minute of the first period, which showed how driven they were, probably by Canada's result yesterday as well, and of course some emotional reasons as well bearing over that game. But both games, the USA and the Canadian game, which you can see now, were sort of carbon copies, both sides pretty ruthless, and certainly having no mercy on the opposing goaltenders. You can see that one there, the simplicity of that toe drag and the assist as well was absolutely perfect. And that is certainly the best assist that I've seen so far this tournament. Don't know about you, Mike. Great class.
That might be the goal of the tournament just because of the beautiful toe-y by Billy Bridges, and he sets up Hickey. Those two have had phenomenal chemistry all tournament, especially punctuated in this win over Italy. So it was the United States picking up a 7-0 win. It was Canada picking up a 7-0 win. The Americans playing their first game of the tournament. They were the only team that was not in action on day 1, and the one team not in action here on day 2 is the host nation, the Republic of Korea. So the list of teams that remain undefeated gets smaller and smaller as we continue to go. The 2 teams playing right now, Germany and Norway, looking for their first victory of this tournament. We will head to a short break, second period action coming up shortly here between Germany and Norway. Welcome back. The Norwegians a 1-0 lead after 1 period of play. We are moments away from puck drop on period number 2 as the team's getting set to take the ice. We'll take a look here at the standings so far on day 2 of competition. And Germany and Norway, both losers on day 1. So one of these teams will pick up a first victory, and we can't overstate this enough how important it is for these teams that will potentially be bubble teams competing with each other for a top 5 spot to win those head-to-head matchups.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be deceived either by that league table because Norway are at the bottom, but remember they have played Canada. They have played one of the big 2 so far. Germany haven't, and they do next against the USA. So it's absolutely vital for Germany in particular to get the 3 points from this one. But of course, only one team can. It's going to be very exciting in the next 2 periods to see who does so.
The Germans will have to have a better start to the second period than they did in the first period. Again, a couple of power play opportunities for Germany in that opening frame. They end up giving up the short-handed goal. and were really unable to get any kind of momentum going. As the team's taking the ice here, getting set for the second period. So the shots on goal, not great in terms of volume in the first period. It was 5-3 advantage for Norway. Not a ton of offense, even though there were 3 power play opportunities. The Germans had 2 opportunities with the man advantage. The Norwegians had 1, but it really was Norway that dictated much of the play. And when we look at the time on ice in the first period for Norway, a huge number for Jan Roger Klakeg, number 23, the defenseman. Played over 10 minutes. They're 15-minute periods. He played 10 minutes and 3 seconds. So a huge workload in that first period, and he'll certainly be somebody, as you see him right there skating out of the screen, that the Norwegians will be leaning on.
Definitely, and just going off there for the Norwegians at the start of this second period as well is Pedersen, sort of the silent assassin in the ice, because he's dictated a lot of the play in the defensive third of the rink, and he's orchestrated anything good that the Norwegians have done as they've made that transition from defense to offense. And of course, the Germans in this second period require a big response. What can they muster? Moments away from finding out here at the Gangneung, hockey centre. Getting confused between the 2 border towns as we're off and underway in the second period. It's Klakeg immediately that has possession, and he comes into the offensive zone, looks on his outside as well, and now it's Lisseth who had possession, gave it away, and that means Norway are forced all the way back into their own third. And they're backtracking towards the goal at a pretty frightening rate at the moment as far as they're concerned, but they do nicely manage to get on the outside on that right wing. It's a good bit of play that from Klakeg, but he, unfortunately for him, couldn't get onto the loose puck. Pretty scrappy start to this second period, as you'd possibly expect, but it is Norway that are enjoying a bit more possession as it's slammed into the corner and right across the backboard. Meaning that Germany can come away with possession. Another strong hit on that near side. And Sklors towards the left. First chance for Germany to knock the puck about. Renak, though, is challenged well by the Norwegians, but now he has it back, the German. Renak coming over halfway. Does really well to get into the offensive third and drills one just over the bar. And it's the first shot of meaningful intent in this second period. It flew over Kjell Christian Heimar's goal.
And a penalty coming up here against the German side as well. As the whistle is blown, it will be an elbowing penalty, it looks like. So Norway, a power play opportunity. We saw Frank Renhack coming over the blue line there and let a hot shot go. He's got a great shot. We saw it in the first period when he sailed one high, and he sailed another one high right afterwards. A penalty here against the German team, and it is Frank Renhack going to the penalty box as he tried to follow up that shot. Ends up taking an elbowing penalty. And Norway with a power play opportunity and a chance to take a 2-0 lead in this hockey game. Again, not what the Germans want to see. They finally do get an opportunity at the goal. Try to follow up with some sustained offensive zone time, and instead Renhack ends up taking a penalty. Now his team is down a man.
Yeah, once again, Germany drilling a bullet into their own foot, and that is not what their coach will want to see at all. It's poor game management at the moment from them. They're not really getting a grip on this one, and now Norway can enjoy a man advantage for the next couple of minutes. It's Bogle coming forward on the left wing. Nice offload back for Pedersen, and Pedersen worms his way in really well, gets the strike away. It's blocked, and Germany just about getting it away now, and I don't think
put it in their own net.
I don't think Kuntz wanted that back towards his goal. He's got enough problems trying to save the Norwegian attacks, let alone his own defence trying to have one on his goal as well. But he managed to get it away. It was very sharp reflexes down to his right-hand side. Pedersen has it. It's a nice square pass to Bogle. Bogle's quickly closed down, but plays it into the corner, and that man advantage really telling there for Norway, as they had 2 red jerseys in that corner. Bogle goes in hard in the challenge, and then it's cleared long and away by Rennick. Past the Norwegian goal line. So a wee bit of respite for the Germans, but Norway will straight away come back and look to go back on the offense. Jakobsen, it's a nice hop that from Bogle as he managed to control it under his sledge. Then Pedersen gets in a tangle with his own teammate Vans, which I don't think he was hoping for. And Germany win it back, and there's a bit more room there for the Germans than I think they thought.
A delayed offside against Norway didn't allow them to get into the offensive zone, so time if they wanted to try to kill some more of this penalty. 20 seconds remaining in the penalty to Renhack.
More frustration for the Germans, and despite the fact they're on ice, I think they're getting a bit hot-headed at times and not taking the decisions rationally. Piltz has it, slams it straight into the corner, and it will cannon back off the board and behind the Norwegian goal line. So now Jakobsen to try and build from the back. Pedersen will pick it up, as Germany are now back to full strength as Renhack reappears onto the ice, and straight away he's bearing down on Pedersen, who finds Bogle. You can see there that sort of skiing technique, just propelling themselves forward, the athletes there with the two blades that they've got. Now, yeah, it's...
Renhack, another nice physical play at the blue line. He ended up knocking a couple of Norwegian players as they were forced to just dump the puck in, which allowed Germany to pick it up. And now the Germans, Gisfeld works his way over the blue line, and he'll try to create some offense.
Fantastic slam coming in there from Nordstoger. And now it's another break for Norway, and despite the fact that both sides are at full strength, the man over there just shows how Norway are managing to get everywhere on the ice at the moment. Now on the left, it's Disseth. Manages to get it back. It's a real chance this for Norway as they pin Germany back into their own defensive third of the ice.
Some nice stick handling work there by Martin Hamre, the 28-year-old for Norway, as he tried to get that puck into the middle of the ice. And now a race for it. Germany doing all they can to try to get some offense going, as it's Cooley Launstein trying to get the puck in the offensive zone. He was unable to do so. And here comes Bakke, ever so dangerous for Norway.
Now it comes back out for Norway, have another crack on goal. It's blocked this time by Prabs, and Germany get it away, but they've really been pushed back at the start of this second period. It's not really the response that they were hoping for, nor did we expect in the commentary box. We thought that they managed to come out with a bit more impetus in this second 15, but now Bakke steams away again. Right on cue, though, coming across was Sagreth there to just get it away. And now it's Pabst at the back, and Germany could try and calm things down a wee bit as far as they're concerned, because they're a bit hot under the collar at the moment. They're struggling to keep a handle on this match. Coming forward now is Bakke. Again, good strides forwards from him, and manages to offload it as well for Hamre. Hamre level with the hash mark. Back now with Klagag. He goes for a strike, and it sort of loops wide of the far post. But we have seen some good stick handling from the Norwegians, and obviously the fact that they've got two sticks at their disposal means that the control with the blade is good for the ambidextrous players, switching from right to left, a key feature of para ice hockey. And I'm sure if you've been watching our coverage in the past few days, you'll have noticed, and a great save again from Kunst, who once more, if you have been watching that coverage, especially of last night's game, you will have seen how incredible he has been in the German goal, and he just gets away with another one there. He didn't get a firm pad with the right hand, and it was Hamre coming in for the rebound. But Mike, we're running out of superlatives for Simon Kunst, because he's been absolutely superb in the German goal in the last two matches.
That could be the save of the tournament, a phenomenal save. We'll look to get you another look at it when we come back in just a moment.
So we restart play then with the Norwegian face-off, but it's Germany who come away with it from their own defensive zone. But the Norwegians, every time the Germans get the puck, particularly in their own defensive third, are straight on them. And as we see it again on this near side, Disveld does really well, though, to stride into the Norwegian half, and he has a very optimistic strike on goal that goes wide and rebounds off the backboard.
You get a feeling if anything's going to happen offensively for the German side, it will be number 3 Disveld, who just took out his own player, and that allows an odd man rush for Norway. But Disveld, number 3, has clearly been the best German player on the ice so far in this game, and he'll look to try to fly the zone and catch a pass in stride and maybe catch the Norwegians off guard.
Yeah, we just saw a great advance there from Pedersen, the number 3 for the Norwegians, as he glided dead centrally down in the offensive third. I think he became a bit disorientated with his surroundings so close to the opposition goal. But again, he's looked really strong, Pedersen. You can tell his experience comes through in abundance. The way he glides on the ice, he never seems to be dismantled despite the pressure from the opposition. And he's been really effective so far for Norway. And it'll be him that comes and picks up the puck now behind his own goal. So brisk as he offloads it back to his teammate.
I like that play there in the neutral zone by the Germans, just to get the puck into the offensive zone and go and chase it. But then you see 3 players go to the strong side looking for the puck, and all Norway has to do is cycle it back, and they have a ton of open space. So the German players have to space themselves out a little bit more and make sure that if the puck does get circled back on a reverse cycle, that they have a man there to try to continue to apply pressure. A shot just wide of the net there. Germany finally getting some opportunities close to the goal.
Yeah, they still have possession now. They've been slightly forced away, but that won't stop them getting the strike away. That time it was Herring with the right blade shot towards the goal. And they have it back now with Pabs looking for Disveld, but he was being caught out because he was going off as a substitute. And he went away
Still
from
a delayed offside here, and the referee, the linesman rather, will finally blow it down as there was a line change and some confusion. And number 96 there, Segref, did not know that his team was on a delayed offside, so they'll blow the whistle dead.
Yeah, it's only taken 10 minutes, but Germany seems to have finally woken up, Mike, in this game, particularly in this period. They're starting to put pressure on the opposition goal, which we haven't seen so far this evening.
Halfway through the game, and that was their first real sustained pressure offensively, so maybe they figured something out here. They can try to get this game knotted up at 1.
Yeah, Norway definitely can't be complacent in this one. They know that Germany can beat them. They did earlier on this season, but Bakker can make it 2-0 now. Kuntz again gets down low. And I think we shouldn't really be surprised because of how great he has been so far as netminder. Now at the other end, it's a chance for Germany, and it's just hit wide. It may have taken a deflection off the netminder there. It wasn't too far away from the target, and quickly we have a bit of end-to-end play. It has predominantly played in the centre of the ice or in the German defensive zone, but now we're starting to see some action towards our right-hand side as well as we look at it. And Norway have to be careful here that they don't get caught in possession, and they do right on cue. There'll be a chance for Shreglev. Gets forced onto his front there. A real strong challenge coming in from behind by Nordstoger. It'll be him that picks up the puck now, and again, they seem a bit rattled, the Norwegians, at the moment. It's a real chance. He's bobbing around the goal line. Has it crossed? No, and I think it's gone behind the net. It certainly has. Very difficult to tell with 4 players just lying on the ice there. But it really seems, Mike, that Norway are under the cosh now.
They're on their heels a little bit. Germany finally able to get some sustained pressure in the offensive zone and create some opportunities. Again, no real strong looks on goal, but at the very least, they're in the offensive zone, and they're starting to work the puck towards the net. So encouraging here as we see Bakke again. What a great battle he's had with the goaltender Kuntz for Germany. Those two have gone toe-to-toe. Bakke's got one by him already, but he's been stoned about 2 or 3 times as well.
And Bakker again having an eye on goal. It goes over this time. And Germany will look to make sure that they don't lose their grip. They have done well in the past couple of moments in this second period. But the last thing they want is to concede another one, especially when they've looked so bright recently. Still the Norwegians having possession. Klegeg, they work it nicely. The shot is towards goal, and it just evaded the right stick there of Kuntz, and it went past the post. Now the puck is stuck in that corner, and it's anyone's guess as to who's going to keep a hold of it. It looks like it will be the German Renak that has it, but he struggles to get it away, and now Norway have the puck back in their possession. It's a slam shot towards goal, that time by Nordstoga, who's been a prominent part of Norway's side in this second period. Didn't see much of him in the first. Nice play this now. Bakker, it's a tight angle, so he looks for the square option. It's a real chance and a very strong challenge coming in there. This time it was Robert Pabst, who really had to get in at the nick of time to protect his goalkeeper Kuntz, because it looked almost certain that Norway were going to get a strike in on goal. But certainly Norway have had the best of these past minute or two. Rare mistake from Pedersen as he gives it away, and now Germany can catch Norway on the counter-attack. What can they do from this one? It's a good challenge coming in this time from Klakeg as he bared down on his German man Lauston.
A nice back check there from Auden Bakke as well, the offensive force for Norway, but he came back to eliminate a 2-on-1 opportunity, and that meant the German player had to just try to go for a one-on-one battle and ends up shooting the puck right into the defender. So a nice back check there from the offensively gifted Bakke, who's getting a little bit physical now as he wins a puck battle and looks to cycle it back for Pedersen.
Yeah, the pendulum of possession keeps swinging both ways. It's now Germany that have it. And onside there is Herring. It was a close call as he came on as a sub, and he just chips it into this near corner. Jakobsen can pick it up and give it to Pedersen. And now it's a real chance for Norway. It was a poor first touch, though, off the left blade.
A stretch pass there for Morten Vernes, a 35-year-old, and he just couldn't control it. He was wide open in the middle of the ice. He had a clear lane to the net. Another opportunity for the Norwegians. Unable to get a shot off on goal, and now Germany starts out with a 2-on-2 opportunity.
Really turning into a bit of a basketball match, Liz, from left to right, and now it's Germany with the opportunity. The penalty has been called.
It's an interference call as Pedersen was upended, and that is a penalty you cannot afford to take if you are Udo Segref.
And again, arm stretched out wide from the German man as he leaves the rink.
Well, Segref arguing it'll actually be Jörg Vedde getting the penalty, and your team is offensively on the attack, a 2-on-2 opportunity, and he took a spill with Rolf Pedersen, ends up taking the penalty. When your team is attacking and you're down a goal in a hockey game, you cannot be taking penalties. When we come back, Norway to the power play.
Team Germany penalty number 77, Jörg Vedde. 2 minutes for interference. Time of penalty 13:01.
독일팀 77번 어그베더 인터페런스 페널티로 2분간 퇴장. 페널티 시간 13분 1초.
So welcome back after that brief stoppage in play. Norway with the power play, with Germany's Udo Segref in the penalty box for the next 2 minutes, and it will be the last 2 minutes of period 2 as well. Can Germany, who have started to creep into this one as well, that'll be the main frustration for them and their coach, that they have looked likely to get an equaliser, but that now looks like it's gonna be pretty ominous of an opportunity as it just hits the side netting. It's a strange effort on goal. Surprised Kuntz didn't manage to react to that a wee bit quicker. I think that stunned him just as it did us.
Klakeg there dropped his stick and he was unable to keep it in the offensive zone as the puck just squirted by him. And it was me that misspoke a little earlier. It's Jörg Vedde in the penalty box, not Segref, if you're keeping track at home. Either way, a minute, seconds to go on this German penalty as the Norwegians start up ice looking to get on the attack.
They certainly do. And now it's a chance on this near side for Norway and Hamra. Let's possession back for Nordstoga. Can he have a strike on goal himself? He's done really well in this second period, and he did really well there to almost find the top corner. We're inside the final minute of period 2. Can it be a chance for Norway to get a second? It's just wide again. Just evades that right-hand post. That time it was Klakeg with the effort. And despite the fact Germany have had much of the better of the last 10 minutes or so, you can see the dominance now of Norway, who have the power play and have been almightily close on a couple of occasions to getting a second one.
Well, just the fact that Germany is able to hang around this game, it's only a one-goal hockey game. Norway's certainly had the better of the opportunities throughout the course of the first near 30 minutes now with 20 seconds left in the second period, but Germany's played a much better game here in the second period. They can kill this penalty off, get into the third, only down a goal. Just takes one shot to tie it at that point.
Yeah, it's been good character from Germany, who certainly had backs to the wall at times, especially in this power play, but it bodes well for when they play the stronger teams like USA and Canada, that they can hold firm defensively. As we now come to the end of the second period, goalless in that spell of 15 minutes. Still Norway who hold the advantage, but as Mike just touched on there, it certainly has Germany. It certainly has been better from Germany. They didn't look like they were going to score at all in the first period, but that 15 minutes eventually, once they got going, became a bit more encouraging for them.
Encouraging heading into the third period as well. There's just 2 seconds left on the penalty to Germany that will carry over into period number 3. So by all intents and purposes, we'll be squared up 5-on-5, ready to go for period number 3. 1-0, Norway has the lead. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome you back inside the Gangneung Hockey Center. It is 1-0. The score remains Norway with the lead over Germany after 2 periods of play, after 30 minutes. No goals in that period, but a lot of action, and the Germans really upped the tempo of the game. They had some decent scoring opportunities, as we'll take a look at some of the highlights from the second period. We really didn't see a lot offensively out of Germany in the first period. Much improved in period number 2.
Yeah, you have to say, if you're German and you're watching this, you must be really frustrated right now, because on 2 occasions last night they went a goal behind and they finally woke up, and it seemed to have been the same in this second period as well. They were 1-0 down after the first, and in the second, eventually after 5-10 minutes, they managed to find their rhythm and get back into proceedings. Still, both sides going hard in on the challenges, which is no surprise at all. We saw enough of that in the first period, and we saw quite a few penalties again in the second. But Germany stood resolute this time around. When they conceded the power play, they were able to make sure that Kunst wasn't beaten.
And that might be the save of the tournament. That was an unbelievable passing play from the Norwegians, but Kunst getting across, diving like Superman, and somehow keeps the puck out of the back of the net. Wow, what a save that is. Again, potentially the save of the tournament, and a big reason why this is still a 1-goal hockey game.
Agonising that for the Norwegians as well. It looked for all the world that that was just going to trickle over the goal line, but it went to the wrong side of the post. And that time Kunst was lucky that his frame just wasn't a couple of inches wider.
Auden Bakke, number 22 for Norway. He's got the only goal of this hockey game. You feel like he might have 2 or 3 goals, though, based on the opportunities that he's had. He's had some great looks at the German goal, but it sits 1-0 in large part thanks to the spectacular play of the German goaltender. Physical as well in this period, and a couple of power play opportunities. There was some shorthanded time. Again, the Norwegians had a 2-minute opportunity towards the end of the period, unable to get that lead up to 2, which would have been huge going into the third period, because as we talk about, all it takes is one shot at this point for the Germans. They're right back in this thing. They clawed back down 1-0 last night against the Republic of Korea, so they'll be looking to do the same.
Definitely, that took something special as well last night to get the equaliser. That one, if that had gone in, would have been a lot more scruffier. But luckily for the Norwegians, they managed to keep it out of their goal. Germany know they've got it within their ranks. They just have to show it on a more consistent basis, because we had flurries in the second period, but it's got to be done over a 15-minute spell, and it's the best 15-minute opportunity now that they've got coming up in this third period, because they know how big a challenge the next one will be against the USA next.
That's absolutely it. If you go down 0-2 with a loss to Norway, that game against the United States, you need a minor miracle to pull out a victory there, and all of a sudden you're down 0-3, but that's looking far too far ahead right now, as Germany's still just one shot away from potentially tying this hockey game. They have to be a little more disciplined as well, as we saw some undisciplined penalties, especially towards the end of the period, in what resulted in that late power play for Norway. A 2-on-2 attack by Germany, and they take a penalty before they can potentially get a shot on goal. The shots on goal, 9-3, so even though Germany much better offensively, not able to generate a ton in that second period on goal, that's the next step for them, is trying to get some of these opportunities to land on net and into the back of the net. We will have more coverage coming up in just a moment from the Gangneung Hockey Center. Welcome back. 1-0 the score after 2 periods of play. Norway and Germany. We have just 1 period left of hockey here on day 2 of the 2017 Para Ice Hockey World Championships. We look forward to the games tomorrow on day number 3, and we get kick-started with the United States taking on Italy. Italy 1 win, 1 loss so far in this tournament. The United States they've only played the one game rather, which was today, an impressive victory as well. So a tough test for the Italians.
Definitely 2 tough tests in a row for Italy after that fantastic start they had against Sweden. They really know they've been sucked right into the deep end of these championships with that fixture tomorrow. The USA have looked fantastic today. They've already put in a very impressive performance against Sweden, which we expected. And now it's another European contest for them, which you'd expect them to come through with flying colours for sure.
The Italians earlier, they played a very physical game against the Canadians and looked to really get under their skin. We'll see if they try to do that tomorrow as well against the United States. Speaking of Canada, they will be taking on Sweden in our second game, Norway taking on Korea in our evening game. As we take a look at the standings as they currently stand right now on day number 2, Germany and Norway, one of these teams will have a victory. There's 15 minutes of hockey left here, and it's the Norwegians with a 1-0 lead. Third period action coming up when we come back as we continue our day 2 coverage at the World Para Ice Hockey Championships. Welcome back, 1-0 Norway, the lead, 15 minutes to play in this hockey game. And before we get you set for third period action, we will take a look back at the only goal of this hockey game so far. It was Norway getting on the board in the first period, and who else? It was their player of the game in game number 1, Auden Bakke on the breakaway, going top shelf.
Absolutely deserved as well for the Norwegians. And as we look ahead towards this third period, I would certainly say that when we touched on the fixtures a few moments ago, you may have noticed Germany not mentioned. They've got a day off tomorrow. It's massive for them to make sure they give it their all in these next 15 minutes so they can say they've earned their break tomorrow. And as they've seen, they're playing Norway are playing the host, Republic of Korea, tomorrow. And without being disrespectful to the host, it's a game that Norway will certainly fancy their chances in. So Germany have to make the most of these next 15 minutes. Perhaps fortunate due to their goalkeeper that it's only 1-0, and that is the only goal of the game, which we're seeing now. So they've got an opportunity to get parity at least, and then maybe go on and get a second. But of course, it's all about that first goal in this period. It's going to be absolutely crucial.
Well, the encouraging thing for the Germans is that they were able to finish that period, the second period, with some pressure at very least. Norway did have a power play in the final 2 minutes. There is 2 seconds left on that Norwegian power play, but that will expire moments after puck drop here in period number 3, and then Germany an opportunity to try to continue some of that effective play they had in the second period and find an equalizer in this game. We take a look at the goaltender on the German side, Simon Kunst. He has been brilliant so far for Germany. You get the feeling he'll have to make a couple of more clutch saves in this hockey game before all is said and done, if his side is going to have an opportunity to tie things up and potentially earn a point. Again, 3 points for a regulation win, 2 for a win in extra time. So it will be important, if you're the Norwegians, to try to get maximum points in this hockey game and get this thing done in regulation. The German side, we take a look at number 43, Bernhard Herring. Began playing the sport in 2010. Is a leader on this team, a very effective player for Germany as well. We've seen Bas Disveld, the captain, number 3. He's been all over the ice. The most effective player in this game, I would argue, for Germany. See if he can make an impact here in the third period. Lots of fans enjoying the action so far as we get set for the final period on day 2.
Yeah, the fans certainly having a great time, just as they did last night when the South Koreans played against Germany. And it's at the moment the Norwegians enjoying things, although there might be a bit of fingernail biting as we go into the third period. We've got a couple of Norwegian supporters just below us, one of them with Bakke on the back of their shirts. And he is the man that separates these two sides as we embark on the final 15 minutes. And an immediate low drive there from number 6, Reidler. Went just wide, and Germany quickly are out of the traps. Herring, now the opportunity, nice through ball, but it's just gone over the far side of the net. And it's still Norway struggling at the start of this third period to get out of their own territory.
Good push by the Germans coming out right off the hop here in the first 40 seconds of the third period, trying to get some offense going as they cycle the puck, and a good opportunity in front of the net a little bit earlier as well. They need to get some of these shots on goal.
Very strong challenge coming in on that far side from Nordstoger. It's now a loose puck, picked up by the Germans, but straight onto it is Bakke. And look at the way he just glides over the ice, and he picks up possession close to the goal line. Puck with his right blade at the moment, and he turns nicely in between two players. That was almost very effective there from Bakke. But possession conceded by Norway. And Disveld just looks to play the low pass into the corner. Goes out for icing, and the puck will be back in the face-off in Germany's defensive zone. But Germany looking far better in the third period than they started the previous two.
A good start for the Germans. They wanted to come out and get some offensive zone time, get some pressure going. They were able to do that, but again, we saw in the second period the Germans able to get a couple of good looks at the goal, but really not effective in putting shots on net. They're going to have to work on their accuracy, and they're going to have to work on maybe not trying to be too cute in front of the net, just start throwing pucks on goal, trying to get some juicy rebounds, and maybe seeing if they can get one past the goaltender, Hammer, as well.
Yeah, Germany have won 10 out of the 14 face-offs that were in the last period. They lost that one, though. And just touching on the Germany coach, Andreas Precorny, he must have really got under the German players' skins at the break there, really rallying the troops and getting them ready for this final period to make sure that everything is left on the ice rink, seeing as though they have got that day off tomorrow. They've got to have earned it. But at the moment, Norway with possession, and Germany gets it back. That's a nice puck pass forward, but it's intercepted by Norway.
That's a good play for the Germans as well, is just trying to send a guy up through the neutral zone and hit him with a stretch pass out of the defensive zone. Try to create an effective opportunity that way, because they've had difficulty attacking with several players up the ice at the same time, trying to connect on passes. So maybe just some stretch passes out of their own defensive zone, hit a guy in stride, see if they can generate some offense that way.
Zergriff got onto that one first, but it's a loose slam off the board and picked up once more by Norway. Renak very quick on the scene, but he couldn't get the second puck, and now Pedersen comes forward. Pedersen with a real chance. It's a tight angle, and again Kuntz manages to get to it. I don't think he knew where the loose puck went there. It just spun in the air, and his defenders were able to get it momentarily clear.
That's a big save, and you really get the feeling that if Kuntz lets one more get past him, this game is likely over. It's hard to imagine Germany scoring twice in the next 12 minutes if they're required to. Maybe looking just to get one, get this thing tied up and see what you can do in extra time, or at least be on level playing field. But another goal by the Norwegians here, and you would have to think that will be enough.
Now it's Norway with a potential chance as it comes down the near side for Lyseth. Pull back. Good pressure from the Germans who get possession back as they stride into Norwegian territory now. But Klakeg, who has been ever present so far on the ice for Norway, backed up 90 minutes at the end of period 2. And he manages to get the puck clear and set Norway off on another counter. And this game, this period, is turning out a bit like the preceding one, with the fact that it's sort of going now end to end, and that both sides have an opportunity to get next on the score sheet. An awfully tight game, as Mike just touched on. Neither goalkeeper can, neither net tender, sorry, can afford to concede another one. And now Germany with possession, cheaply given away. Backer's touch was poor though. And again, it's sloppy and picked up by Norway, although I don't think the Norwegian player realised it was under his sledge there. It was Hammer looking a bit confused. Thankfully for him, his side have possession, but not in an area they'd like. Strong challenge coming in from Herring as well. And he's in for more, is Herring. Certainly keen to win that puck back, and it's in a very advanced position for Germany if they can manage to get the puck back legally.
It's a nice forecheck there by the Germans, and any time that there's an opportunity to get an extra man in and create an odd man battle is certainly an effective way to win the puck, and they do just that. Centering pass broken up by the Norwegians, and Kjell Christian Hammer, the 32-year-old goaltender, will be happy just to cover the puck and get a break. We'll take a quick timeout. 10:16 to go in period number 3. Norway, a 1-0 lead.
Thanks to the Gangneung 2017 World Paralympic Ice Hockey Championships April Committee, we'd like to thank all our volunteers who helped in this tournament. Without you, none of this is possible, so thank you so much.
2017 강릉 세계 장애인 아이스하키 선수권 대회 에이플, 노르웨이와 독일의 경기장으로 오신 관중 여러분들과 사업자분들께 진심의 말씀드립니다.
I think myself and Mike, just like the players, are making the most of every single break that appears in this period, because it's certainly breathless stuff, and either side could find the net next. Pedersen, we're making sure it's his side, and certainly not the Germans. They're next on the score sheet. The chase is on here as well. It'll be Norway that get to it first with Solberg. Pulls it back, but there's no one in a red jersey there to pick up the loose puck. And now it's Germany on the break again, this time Disveld. Looks to have a very ambitious effort. It's parried by the Norwegian stopper. And Norway with coming away with it there was Pedersen. He gave up possession though. Not often you see that happen.
Renhack with a good forecheck, and the forecheck's been strong for Germany so far here in period number 3. It will have to continue to be, because that's probably their most effective way to try to generate some offenses. Dump the puck in, get in with an aggressive forecheck, win those puck battles by outmanning your opponent, being more aggressive, and then try to get something set up towards the middle of the ice.
Almost a full change of personnel from both sides there, as they use that opportunity with the face-off coming up to make the switches. So some fresh blades on the ice. We've got under 9.5 minutes remaining, and Germany need to find something very soon if they're to get anything from this game, and they do! Right on cue, it's Herring who just struck it fantastically from the edge of the circle past the netminder Hamer, who I don't think saw that one coming. I certainly didn't. And Herring had got exactly what the doctor ordered. Germany have parity. It's Norway 1, Germany 1.
Well, you take a look at Herring here. He cuts to the middle of the ice, and he goes cross-body, just rifles one. No question that it caught Hammer off guard, the goaltender for Norway. Just a great job here of getting to the middle of the ice, and a quick flick of the wrist. Sometimes it's not how hard you shoot it, it's just how quick you get it off your stick and surprising the opposition. It had a little bit of pace on it, that shot. It wasn't a weak one by any means, but it was certainly more about the quick release. And it gets Germany all tied up in this game. You could feel the momentum swinging just a little bit. And a nice save there by Simon Kunst, as well as Norway looking to answer right back, but Germany has tied this game up at 1, setting up an interesting finish with 9 minutes to go.
Well, I think the expression is deja vu, because we were in this position last night. Germany got an equaliser in the third period, and again it was another very impressive one. Germany don't get many goals. They only got 3 goals in 4 games at the 2015 Para World Championships, and they've got 2 so far in this tournament, and they've both been absolutely exceptional, both south as well of the hash mark. And they certainly do the spectacular in the offensive in the brief moments that they do hit the net. So now what can Norway muster?
We talked about Bernhard Herring, the goal scorer for the German team, at the top of the broadcast. His motto, no pain, no gain. He does what he has to do to get to the middle of the ice, find the back of the net. Germany trying to avoid the pain of 2 straight losses to open this tournament.
I think both coaches will be feeling pain in the nerves in these last 8 minutes or so, because it's certainly going to be almightily tense. And if you're the neutral watching this on the live stream or in the stadium, then I'm sure you'll be absolutely loving this right now, but not if you're Norway or German persuasion. It was a good searching pass there through, looking for Bakker, but ultimately it goes past the goal line, and that'll be icing, and that'll be Germany's chance to pin back the Norwegians in what's going to be a very extremely tight final 8 minutes.
$8:10 to go here in period number 3, and I don't know, I get a sneaking suspicion, I get a sense we'll see another goal here before the end of regulation, the way that these 2 teams have been going. I get the sense that Norway, playing a little defensive-minded perhaps, protecting that 1-goal lead. Now that it's all tied up at 1, we might see some of the pace that they played with at the start of this game. And the Germans continuing to attack. They seem to have woken up in the second period and carried that play into the third period here as well.
Now Bakker coming forward into the offensive zone. He goes on the outside. Can he worm his way back in field? The answer is no, because Germany are resolute. And there's a loose stick on the floor there as well. That almost caused some issues, but it's picked back up again by Bakker. And the game is slowed down there by Renak, just taking things under control. We've not really seen that from Germany often. They've been quite hesitant and rushed things with the puck. This man Pedersen has been the complete contrast of that. To go searching down the left flank. 360 that. Very nice stuff indeed from the German there, Robert Pabst. Bit of an aimless pass though forward, and Pedersen can pick it up. Either side really grasping possession of that puck as the clock ticks down in period 3. But somebody has to get a winner from somewhere, and that was a very long-range effort coming in there from Renak. But I think the net tender had that under control.
Icing the call, the face-off will come down to the German zone. As we take a look at Rolf Pedersen, 47-year-old Norwegian multi-sport athlete, sledge speed racing and cross-country skiing Paralympic medalist, looking for a medal here with Norway at a world championship. That would certainly be a good thing for him, as he's already won 4 world championship medals. Rolf Pedersen, as we mentioned earlier, 21 years a member of Team Norway.
Yeah, instrumental version there. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Well, if you're nervous and you know it, then I think both benches will certainly be joining in with a lot of enthusiasm. But as it remains, it's the fingernails that have been bitten on both sides from Europe in pursuit of a winner in these Para World Championships. Pedersen, really strong from him over halfway. Now it's an opportunity for Hamra, but he was just challenged. They've still got possession. It's Lyseth that hits it wide of Kuntz's left-hand post.
It was a rushed shot there. There was some open space to perhaps move the puck in a little bit closer and perhaps look for a teammate, as well as a hot shot there is off the crossbar. What a blast that was. And Kuntz seemed caught off guard a little bit, and why not? That thing came at him at about 100 miles an hour, and it rings off the pipe. Norway that close to taking a 2-1 lead.
Well, I know the nets in ice hockey do move when there's contact. I'm really surprised it didn't go 5 yards back after that strike, because that was hit with some ferociousness, cannoned off the upright. And that would have been an outstanding winner had Norway managed to get it, but they don't, and they play on, still sniffing around that goal. Backer across the face, and a real opportunity there for Varnes as it came to him. It deflected in his path. He now has possession again, and he'll be gutted that his blade wasn't a couple of centimetres longer, because he may have just stuck that in Kuntz's neck. But as it stands, another effort on goal. It was from a decent angle, or a decent strike considering the angle. It wasn't the kindest of angles that he had there. Norstogger. Nice interchange of the left and right blade as it's played back, and it scrambles around. Really difficult to track the puck at the moment. Thankfully for Germany, they have it with their possession, and Vedder can just kill a couple of seconds, but gives it away to Varnes. He just couldn't get the strike away with the left blade, and away it goes.
Norway carrying the pace of the play now. Is once this game was tied up at 1, no need to sit back and try to protect the lead, obviously, and you're starting to see some of that offense from the Norwegians. Germany looked like they were icing the puck there, but it was waved off by the official. The play will continue. We'll see if Norway can find the back of the net with some of the opportunities they've had. And a tricky little shot there off the sled of the goaltender Kuntz. But we've seen some surprise shots be effective here in the third period. Not necessarily the hardest, although the shot by the Norwegians that rang off the crossbar was certainly a rocket, but perhaps look for a quick flick of the wrist as the shot that gives a team a victory here today.
Germany now having possession of the offensive zone. Renak goes for a low strike. It's well wide. But still, the pressure is on. They maintain this offensive attack. And it's with Germany and Baz Disvel. Inside it goes. Renak tries to turn in the circle, but he's well challenged in the end by Klakeg. And now the break is on. Some tired athletes out there, it has to be said. It's rightly expected as well, especially with these two sides playing two very tough games for different reasons in the last 2 days. But now Renak coming forward into the offensive zone, manages to find its way through. It's a real chance for Germany there, and an exceptional challenge from Bakker. We've seen what he can do in the offensive zone. He's not too bad in the defensive zone either. And now Pedersen can control things a wee bit, and Norway can start from the back once more. End-to-end stuff once again, Mike.
22 in red and blue puts the Bakker in back check. He's had a couple nice back checks in this game, and an offensive opportunity here for the Norwegians. Whacking away at it, and it stays out of the net. Perhaps a little goaltender interference there as well, crashing the crease. Either way, the puck stays out. We remain tied with just over 3 minutes to play.
Really intrigued to see a replay of that one. Pedersen's strike seemed to cannon back off his own player that was interfering there with the netminder. And then the rebound just seemed to hover over the goal line and not manage to cross it. Strong appeals of a goal, but the official behind the net was very quick to wave it away. But still, the foot is on the gas from Norway. Pedersen has it. Back it goes, past Bakker. And Germany will get it away through Frank Renak. Just 2.5 minutes remaining here. And if we do find a winner in this one, then it will certainly be nothing short of dramatic. We stressed how important it would be for these two sides to get a winner here, especially for Germany. USA to come in 48 hours' time. They've got a rest tomorrow. But as we said in the intermission before this third period, they've got to have earned it. And you have to say after these last 13 minutes or so that they certainly have so far, but it'll be worth nothing if they don't take a result from this game.
Just about to say we haven't had a whistle for a while. We do get one here. It's an icing call against the Norwegians with just over 2 minutes to play. Looking more and more like we might be seeing our first overtime game of the tournament. Knotted at 1. Norway and Germany. And it looks like a timeout will be used here. As what an opportunity for the Norwegians. Renak in there. Kuntz in there as well, the goaltender. Just enough German bodies to keep that puck out of the net.
Just look at the initial strike from Pedersen. It's coming in now. It is Jakobsen that blocks. He then gets the strike away at goal. Renak was just a metre or so away from that goal line. It deflected off off his blade and managed to be ricocheted to safety at the second attempt by Renak, the German number 8.
So the Norwegians have used their timeout as they ice the puck there, resting the bodies, of course, after an icing call. The defensive team, the team guilty of icing the puck, is not able to change their lines. So some tired bodies perhaps out there for the Norwegians, but they get a little bit of a rest with the timeout. We'll see if the German side can take advantage now with an offensive zone face-off. Klakheg's logged so many minutes for the Norwegians so far in this game. By far the leader in time on ice. And he'll take the draw against Bernhard Herring, the goal scorer for Germany.
You did say, Mike, about 5 minutes ago when Germany got the equaliser that you thought there'd be another one in this game with 2 minutes to go. How are you seeing it now?
Less confident in that prediction. Only 2 minutes left now, but at the same time, both these teams have had some terrific opportunities in the third period, and the Germans, they look like a different team. As a great shot there by Herring, and he missed the far post. He had a terrific opportunity to make my prediction come true and see another goal before the end of regulation.
Almost a brace there for Herring, but he just couldn't find that far corner like he did a few moments before with that German equaliser. And now it's Norway's turn to have hold of the baton, but they give it away just about. Very difficult to tell right underneath the Norwegian bench. Vedder manages to get one away towards goal, and that was a very strange stop by Hamer down to his left-hand post, because it seemed to be pretty easy to deal with, and he made that look a bit more erratic than he perhaps had to be. But that just shows how nerves are high going into the final 60 seconds. Can either side get a winner in this one, or will we need overtime to separate these two European outfits? We'll have to wait and see. Bakker now has possession. He'll look to offload it into the offensive zone and does so successfully as well with Hamra. Forced out wide by Pilz. Still scrambling around in that corner. There's two from both sides trying to win possession back, and Renak, who has been absolutely superb, to be fair, in the outfield. We've not mentioned him enough, I don't think, or given him enough praise, but he manages to get it away there to safety and out for icing.
We may see a timeout now by the German side, as this was a line that was out for quite a while for Germany and involved in some tough battles as well. They might want a little bit of a rest here with 33 seconds to play. And they do, in fact, take their timeout. 33 seconds to go. The German side will talk things over. They'll have a defensive zone face-off coming up here. They've got some speedy players on the ice right now. Bas Disfeld, the captain, number 3, the goal scorer, Bernhard Herring. We'll see what happens here in the final 33 seconds of this hockey game, as it's looking more and more like we may be going to extra time.
Absolutely, and just under a minute until we find out who or what the result will be in this game. It may not be a case of who takes it, because there's not much time at all to find a winning goal. But the Norwegians, you'd probably say, would fancy their chances. It's in the offensive zone for them, this next face-off. And I think that is the German team talk right now, how to defend this and see it out into the overtime periods.
Win the face-off, flip the puck out into the neutral zone, and get a line change.
So, of course, with the overtime, it's a case of sudden death, although with the records of these two sides, not the most prolific in the offensive zone. We could perhaps be playing all night. We'll have to wait and see, though, what happens in that overtime period, as we now encounter the final 30 seconds here of the final game in day 2. Is there one last twist? Kuntz again with another save. The officials are straight in there trying to sort this out, as I think two players fused together there and locked horns. Not quite sure which two it was.
Yeah, the Germans don't like that. That was Magnus Bogle in front of the net as well, coming in to rough things up, but it was Klakheg, number 23, who goes in, gives a little bit of a shot there, and you see Kuntz giving a shot, saying, what are you doing coming in here? Kuntz clearly had the puck in his trapper. There was no rebound, no real reason for Jan Roger Klakheg to go in there and create that kind of havoc, other than to just get under the skin of the German goaltender. And obviously the Germans don't like what they saw, and it will result in a penalty for Norway. The referees, I tell you what, they haven't been letting much of anything go in this game. They've been calling it really close. At this stage of a game, it's tied 1-1 with 25 seconds left. Yes, Klakheg does go in and make some contact, but boy, that is a tough pill to swallow if you're the Norwegians, having that called as a penalty in such a critical time in this game.
Excellent from Pedersen there to get it away. He will concede the icing call, it seems. No, he won't. But play continues. The way Pedersen interchanged there from the right blade to the left blade and quickly got it away deep inside the offensive zone was outstanding. It looked like it might be the final bit of play in normal time, because we have the final hoots from the clock, and it has finished. Norway 1, Germany 1. Overtime is required. We'll have to see how strong the second wind is from both of these sides, but it will be the first overtime period we have seen in these World Championships, and it certainly has been gripping, and we'll hope for more of the same when the overtime period begins. But we look at that power play there, which will be in Germany's advantage for the first 90 seconds, Mike, and that could be important.
Well, no question it'll be important to be able to start the overtime period on the power play. Will be critical, and you saw the reaction at the end of the game from Simon Kuntz, the German goaltender, pumping his fist, happy to get this game to extra time. We take a look at the goals in this game. Auden Bake, he's been phenomenal for Norway. He gets a breakaway. This was a short-handed opportunity, so keep that in mind as well. Even though the Germans do have a power play here to start the overtime period, Norway's only goal of the game did come short-handed. They've got speed and they've got players that can be effective in all situations. That's how the first goal of the game was scored, which gave Norway a 1-0 lead. Bake has been brilliant for them in 2 games in this tournament.
Yeah, it was a ruthless finish into the roof of Kuntz' net there. And the more you see it, the more you just see how he sort of gave Kuntz the eyes as he bared down on him. Kuntz had no idea where that puck was going to end up, and it went past him like a flash. And talking of flashes, what an absolute flash of brilliance that was there from the equaliser. Herring with it. And again, no chance for the netminder hammer. These are 2 very good netminders, but on both goals, they struggled to react quickly enough to even flinch, let alone get a sufficient pad behind it to deflect it away from their respective goals. And there we have the statistics at the end of normal time, and it's become a lot tighter on the face-offs one. Germany were well ahead at the end of the second period, but they're a lot tighter, and Norway racking up a lot more shots on goal as well.
A lot of that has to do with the first period. Norway really dictated the play in the opening 15 minutes of this hockey game. Ever since then, it's been pretty equal. Germany, a much better response in period number 2, and you can certainly argue they were the better of the 2 teams in the third period. So the way the momentum has been going in this game, Germany now on the power play as well, they're in a position to win this game. We saw some of the reaction from the German players at the end of regulation, pumping their fists. They were happy to get this thing into extra time and keep Norway from earning a full 3 points. But now you have to think, if you're the German side, it might be a little bit disappointing not to come away with a win, given the fact that they have carried the pace of the play in the second half of this game, and that they have 95 seconds of power play time to start this overtime period, which begins right now. 5-minute overtime period. Puck drops, Germany on the power play.
So, whether you're new to para ice hockey or you've been watching it for years, you'll be equally gripped to your screens wherever you're watching this from, as we begin with the overtime, and it's Germany that get the first strike away. They have the man advantage, and they've got to make it count more now than ever. We stressed the importance of this game beforehand, and it'll get even more important now, and it's ruthless stuff towards the board there. The officials letting it go. There was an almighty tussle going off. It was between Segref and Pedersen, and I'm sure I saw a punch thrown in there, but we'll have to wait and see with the replay. That was an almighty block of horns.
You got to be careful, and you might think that, you know, given the situation that we're in the overtime period, sometimes the referees put the whistles away a little bit. Obviously not the case, as call it a marginal penalty was called against Norway with 25 seconds left in regulation of a tie hockey game. So both sides have to be very careful not to do anything undisciplined, as the refs might just take one.
So going on to the puck now is Vance for Norway and Renak for Germany. It's the latter that picks up possession, and now Disvel looks to get it out of his own zone. He struggles though, and now Pedersen with that extra space due to the deficiency of players in this overtime period. Looked to make the most of it, couldn't there. Nice from Bakker, almost got back for Pedersen. It does go outside the offensive zone though, so the 3 outfield Norwegians will have to retreat a wee bit. And they just managed to keep hold of possession. Pedersen, a chip and chase. Not much of a chase from him, though. He'll leave the running to Bakker. And we are back to full strength. Norway back onto the ice, Klagegg, as we have our first break of the overtime period. So it's 5v5 in this overtime period, and just 3 and a bit minutes remaining to see who can take the decider in this contest. It could be either Norway or Germany, both looking for their first 3 points of this campaign. Their maiden win is just moments away for one of them. Which one will it be? Here's Vance. Nice pass looking for Bakker. Manages to control it as well, goes off balance.
And a penalty coming up here against the German side. Bakker still controlling the puck, did a good job there to shake off 2 defenders as the extra attacker comes onto the ice.
Nice from Pedersen, managing to find a bit of space. Not the greatest angle, still gets the shot away, and the rebound came back to him off Kuntz as well, and we will go back to that penalty call, which Mike said a few moments ago. It will now be on the horizon in a few seconds' time. But real chance there for Pedersen and Norway to get the decider.
2 minutes, 47 seconds to go in the overtime period. The Norwegians now will get an opportunity to end this hockey game with some power play time in overtime. And just to get you caught up here on how it works at the World Pair Ice Hockey Championship with extra time, if there is not a winner decided after this overtime period, the teams will continue into 3-on-3 hockey. And if there is no winner decided at the end of the 3-on-3, or sorry, rather 3 shooters aside in after this overtime period for a shootout, and that will determine the winner of this hockey game. A quick shot there, and a huge glove save by Kuntz. What an unbelievable stop as Norway trying to end this thing on the power play. And it was Pedersen with an absolute rocket. But just to clarify, sorry again, 2.5 minutes to go in this overtime. If we do get to the end of this overtime without a winner, it will be 3 shooters aside for a shootout, and then sudden death shootout beyond those 3 shooters if we're still tied at that point as well.
Chance for Norway, and again it's Kuntz who's got it. Tip with the left glove, I think, stretching across. And Norway still on the pursuit here. Pedersen has possession. He's got 3 offensive shirts with him in this zone. One of them's Bogle, who has it now. Goes on the outside, not the greatest angle to shoot. Works it back in field, and Pedersen will have to chase the loose puck. It was a pass searching for Bakker there. Pedersen once again just taking control, does things with such ease, does Pedersen. Can he get the winner? Kuntz again. The reflexes of that man are absolutely incredible. Right glove again, tips it over, and Mike, this man gets better and better.
That opportunity was better than his first one, and I thought this was lights out, game over. Pedersen, an incredible opportunity here with 1:09 to go on the power play. He finds all sorts of open ice, and he's looking top left corner. He's got it, and the blocker comes all the way up. What an unbelievable save by Kuntz. He was brilliant in the first game against the Republic of Korea, and he has been brilliant here again. Pedersen cannot believe it. He had 2 phenomenal opportunities already in the first minute of this power play to end the game. So Norwegians will regroup.
Yeah, Germany holding on tight here. They cannot wait for this power play of Norway's to end. It's got 40 seconds left of its duration. Bakker tries to pick up the loose puck. Strong challenge coming in from Disveld, and a successful one as well. It just agonisingly for Norway goes back into the half neutral zone. Pedersen has it. He's got an option to his left and one to his right as well. He drifts to the right channel.
Ooh, that's a tough offside call there. It looked like Pedersen is in over the line onside, and a bit of a late offside call. Some bodies getting tangled together, and this game's gotten a little bit chippy towards the second half of the game, certainly in the third period, and now into overtime as well, as emotions are running high with 1:08 to play before we potentially head to a shootout.
And 22 of those seconds that remain. We'll see The Norwegians keep on to this power play. Bogle battles with it from the face-off against Disvel. Still in the neutral zone, and Norway, as you'd expect with the man advantage, picking up all the loose pucks. Pedersen, another chance for him. Pedersen this time again, he's denied. What a save once more from Kuntz. Again tipping it over his net. The pressure's still on. Here's Pedersen. Back for Bakker. Strong challenge coming in from Sklorz, who returns to the ice. But Bakker scores this time! The winner with just 33 seconds remaining. They've been knocking heavily on the door as that power play went on. As soon as the power play ends, Mike, Norway get the winner.
They're onto the ice and celebrating. I tell you what, Rolf Pedersen could not believe that this game did not end on a couple of his brilliant opportunities, but who else? Out in Bakker, going up and over the shoulder, and Kuntz, the goaltender, wasn't particularly happy that Klockegg, number 23, was in front of the net. And you'll see some potential interference here. The Germans are talking to the official as Klockegg was in front. There wasn't any contact you see there before the puck went into the net, so that looks like a legitimate goal. Disveld, the captain, unhappy though, claiming that there was goaltender interference, but as you see on that overhead replay, it looked pretty clear that the contact came after the puck was already into the back of the net.
If you look at the German bench, they are pointing towards the big screen as the replays are being shown and saying, look, your evidence is there, that's your interference. The Norwegian players are off out of the bench and onto the ice. As we take another look at it now, the Norwegians think they've won this game. Bakker coming in. Decent angle for him to open up his body and shoot with the right blade. And Mike, what do you reckon to that? Interference or not?
Well, number one, I don't think there was contact before the puck went into the back of the net, so that would make it a moot point. Number two, if there was contact, Robert Pabst, number 52 on the German side, was actually the one that pushed Klockegg into the goal, and there will be no goal overturned here. It does count. It's the right call. Bakker scoring twice for the Norwegians, a 2-1 final, 33 ticks left in overtime, and he wins it. And you can still see Kuntz arguing, yelling at the officials, claiming that there was goaltender interference, but I think once they get a couple looks at it a little bit closer on a replay in the dressing room or after the game, perhaps in the hotel, they'll see that the right call was made on the ice.
Yeah, you've got two dashings of frustration there for the Germans. Not only have they lost this game, they've lost it in overtime, and add onto it as well the controversial circumstances. And Germany will have a day off tomorrow, and you have to say they have earned it from the third period in the overtime spell as well. As we await the Norwegian national anthem, you have to say that Germany must be almightily frustrated by the nature of that defeat. But Norway will be ecstatic. Their maiden 3 points on the board.
2 points, actually 3 points for a regulation win, 2 points for the Norwegians as they take this one in overtime. And the Germans, they did manage to claw back in this game, but the same story as in their first game of the tournament where they go down 1-0, they managed to tie it up. They ended up losing that first game in regulation to the Republic of Korea, so they do better to get this game into overtime here. But the same result, unfortunately, is a loss, as Germany will fall to 0-1-1 with a regulation loss and an extra time loss as well. We get set for our player of the game presentations. And Jonathan will ask you, Germany and Norway, who you would have as your player of the game. If I'm looking, I think it's pretty clear cut. I think on both sides, I'd be looking at Auden Bakke as the Norwegian player of the game, although Rolf Pedersen had a brilliant game as well, but Bakke scoring twice, including the overtime winner, should be enough for him. And then on the German side, it'd be hard not to give it to 47 in goal, who was brilliant again, Simon Kuntz.
Quite simply, Mike, the answer to that is yes and yes. I think Kuntz in the German goal will be very disappointed, because if he comes away from these championships with more man of the match awards than points, it will be very frustrating for him. But he looks as if he will pick up that gong once again for the German side. And the German defenseman must be thinking that surely they'll get one themselves soon.
And we are ready for the player of the game presentations. We will let you listen in as those presentations are made down at ice level.
Ms. Sohee Kim, 1994 Lillehammer Winter Olympic short track speed skating gold medalist.
1994 밀리언베르 동계올림픽 쇼트트랙 스피드 스케이팅 금메달리스트 김소희님입니다. 큰 박수로 환영해 주시기 바랍니다.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now award the best player of Team Germany.
관중 여러분, 먼저 독일팀 최우수 선수에 대한 시상이 있겠습니다.
The award will be presented by Sohee Kim.
김소희님께서 시상해 주겠습니다.
The best player of Team Germany
독일팀 최우수 선수
is number 43, Bernhard Herring.
43번 베르나르 헤리.
Well, I think the committee that's made that decision are just trying to be fair there and even the awards out a wee bit. Bernhard Herring's goal certainly warrants that award purely due to the nature of the strike. It came out of absolutely nowhere and just flashed past the net tender of Norway, Kjell Christian Heimar. I could see a couple of German players looking at Kunz just before it was announced, and I'm sure there was thinking, you're going to get it, mate. But that is not the case, and Herring, whose goal was outstanding, picks up the award.
Yeah, certainly a great game from Herring. You could definitely make the argument that he and Bas Disfeld were the top skaters in this game for the German team. He scored the goal. They wouldn't have got to overtime without him. But I don't think that the Germans would have been in this game at all without the goaltender Simon Kunz. So either way, a brilliant performance by Herring. Kunz was spectacular as well.
다음으로 노르웨이 팀 최우수 선수에 대한 시상이 있겠습니다.
The best player of Team Norway
노르웨이 팀 최우수 선수
is number 60, Knut Andre Nordstoga.
16번 뜻 안드레 베르스토가.
Well, we're going off the board with that one. It was Knut Andre Nordstoga. Again, a great game. You don't want to take anything away from this player who played terrific for Norway. And perhaps because Bakke, much like Kunz, was awarded player of the game in the first game, they're deciding to share the wealth a little bit. But when you score both goals in a game one in overtime, you can't underestimate how effective and how well Audun Bakke played. He was a very effective player for them offensively. Knut Andre Nordstoga defensively played a fantastic game for Norway as well. So two great players will shake hands, and no matter how you slice it, a lot of good players to choose from here in a 2-1 Norway victory.
Absolutely, gives the credit full game as well. There were quite a few contenders. We obviously had our preferences. I'm glad I've not found a Korean betting shop so far, because I think I would have lost quite a bit of money tonight on who would have picked up man of the match. But Knut Andre Nordstoga, I did say in the second period we were noticing him a lot more, and as the game progressed he was certainly becoming more and more influential. But as we now await the Norwegian national anthems here, you will see the Norwegian flag raised.
There you have it, 2-1, Norway victorious. An overtime thriller, our first overtime contest in this tournament here on day 2 of the 2017 World Para Ice Hockey Championships. It was a fantastic game. The Norwegians really carrying the pace of the play in the first period. Germany showing a little bit of life in the second, and at times dominating the play in the third period. They finally get the tying goal. We go off to overtime, and Rolf Pedersen would have been very upset with himself if the Norwegians didn't come out victorious in this game. We'll take a look at some of the highlights from this hockey game, but Pettersson had some brilliant chances on the man advantage in overtime. Fortunately for him, his teammate, this guy right here, out in Bake, who opened the scoring, ended it in overtime as well, but there's his first goal, and it was a beauty.
Feels like a very long time ago now, Mike, after the 3 periods we've had in the overtime, that first goal, but it was a super one as well. That ambidextrous play we've been talking about, from the left blade onto the right one. We saw it there from Herring, who was man of the match for Germany, and it was a wonderful strike to finish as well.
And the Norwegians kept coming here. This, I'm calling that the save of the tournament right now. That was a phenomenal save from Kunst. As you look at, first of all, a terrific pass across the seam there to find the open man, and a hot shot right on goal. Unbelievable acrobatic save by Kunst to get across and rob Ola Oiset, the 18-year-old kid who was looking for his first goal of this World Championship.
And there we have the winner in overtime. Backer with it just when I said they were knocking on the door, Norway. I think they were kicking it in, quite frankly, during that power play. They couldn't get the breakthrough in overtime, but then as soon as Germany returned to full strength, Norway found the route to goal. Controversy about perhaps interference on the netminder. The referee said no, and Norway take 2 points from this one with a cracking overtime win. Absolutely phenomenal stuff here at the Gangneung Hockey Centre here in the Republic of Korea.
Well, you saw there Kunz giving a couple whacks before that puck ended up going in, so there was some contact before the play at the net that ultimately ended the game. And then you saw Klakeg, the Norwegian player in front of the goal. He'd been a thorn in the side of Kunz in this hockey game. And the Germans wanted a goaltender interference call. They didn't get it. It was the right call made on the ice. And out in Bake at 4:26 in overtime. We were that close to seeing not only our first overtime, but our first shootout here on day 2 of the World Championship. In the end, it is Norway taking it 2-1 the final. A very exciting game, dominating in the shot department. 23-6 in this hockey game. Not really an accurate reflection of how close this game was, though, as Germany poured things on in the second half of the game. A lot of their opportunities didn't end up on goal, but they certainly had a lot of pressure. As we take a look now at the updated standings, Canada on top, the only team to win twice so far in this tournament. But with the win, Norway getting the win in overtime, you'll see they get 2 points. You get 3 points for a regulation win. So Norway still underneath Italy there, sitting in that 5th spot. And that is the bubble spot, as the top 5 teams will get into the automatic berth into the 2018 Paralympics. We take a look now at the matchups tomorrow. We start with the USA taking on Italy, and that'll be a tough test for the Italians, who coming off a gritty physical game against Canada today. Yeah,
it's quite a drop in the deep end for Italy. They started off with Sweden. They got a very impressive win 2-1. It could have been a lot more, but they played Canada today, and they play USA tomorrow. It certainly doesn't get easier, and they definitely know that they're right in it here at the Para World Championships.
Following that game, Canada taking on Sweden, and then our evening game, it will be the Republic of Korea taking on Norway. We thank you very much for watching our Day 2 coverage here at the 2017 World Para Ice Hockey Championships. We'll see you again tomorrow.